Farm Institute is a working farm, but more than that, it's a teaching farm. The farm exists for the sole purpose of connecting people of all ages to agriculture and various approaches to growing food that will feed people in the future in ways that don't damage the environment. We bring kids to the farm, we bring adults to the farm, we bring families to the farm, and visitors stop in from all over the world while they happen to be on Martha's Vineyard. It's a curious challenge growing food because it takes a lot of work and there's not much margin of profit available to people who farm. So we're trying to make a go of it producing food. We're also trying to make a go of it educating on top of that. So two of the riskiest businesses around are farming and education, and we're doing both at once. But we have a great time doing it. I think one of the things that I love most about the farm is that people come here and experience totally unfamiliar surroundings, including the plants, the animals, and the environment in general, and it just totally resets their whole way of thinking about where their food comes from. It's just a gas to see kids encountering the real animals that are responsible for producing a lot of their food, and being able to take care of them and feed them and clean out their stalls and walk them back and forth. It's just a whole relationship to a part of the natural world that they don't often get to experience. And it really tickles me that people can do that here on the farm.
So I am the education coordinator here at the Farm Institute, and it's basically my job to organize and pull off all the educational trips that come, both as part of our residential programs where we have schools come in from all around the area, not just the island, to spend like 3 or 4 days with us, or for our summer camp where we'd have kids come in for Monday through Friday like a typical camp. I spend a lot of time organizing schedules and lesson planning for these groups to come in, and I try to fit the educational experience for the group that we have coming, whether it's an inner city school from New York or a more rural school coming from northern Massachusetts. It's my job to come up with what we are going to convey to the group that's coming and what we want to teach, what we want them to walk away with when they leave, and what memories we want them to have of this place when they go home. I love farming in an idealistic sense and just the physical sense of doing it. It's something that I really enjoy doing. And to me, it's one of the most important things you can teach about. It's so fundamental to our survival as people. It's food. Everybody eats food. And there's this huge disconnect that's happening between people and where their food comes from. And I think changing that starts with educating people about where it comes from. We can bring them here and show them what farming is and what you need to do to raise food, whether it's animals or plants, whatever. And it's extremely gratifying to me to see kids and adults alike leave the farm having learned anything. We don't expect to transform everybody that comes here into a farmer, but if these people leave and decide to plant their own garden or have some potted plants or something, that's a change, and I think that's a worthwhile change for what we do. And I don't think you could, hope for anything better than that or more important than that.
The farm has many amazing garden projects going on, and it changes all the time. It changes every summer, and my job is to keep an eye on what's going on and just be a part of all of the magic that happens here. And so I'm the garden manager, so I oversee our teaching garden, which is a half an acre educational garden, and our community garden, which is provides garden plots for many people in the community. We have a production garden, so we have an intern working in that this summer, and that's a half an acre that will provide food for the farm stand and the farmer's market. And then we have a meadow this summer that's about an acre in size, and we'll be doing mixed projects, growing a pumpkin patch, and we'll have a flower grower out there, and we'll be seeding some flax out there, and we have the local Edgartown school children planted potatoes, so that'll be kind of a mixed use area. And then we have a greenhouse that runs year round, and we'll be doing winter greens and spring greens when the summer season ends. And what I love about the Farm Institute so much is that we all, like as you said, everyone's here because they're passionate about working with the land and about working with children and sharing nature and sharing the plants and the animals with people from all over the world, many of whom don't have access to a place like this, or don't have a connection with where their food comes from. And also, we all have the opportunity to be really creative here, and to really, if we have an idea that we want to make happen, we can really make it happen here. And so there's a lot of learning and a lot of experience here that's experimental, and we get to share what we learn with others.
I am responsible for all the livestock here at the farm, everything from feeding to watering to health and care, which also involves care of our grasslands and our barns that have to house the animals and their feed. And animals range from beef cows, pigs, chickens for both eggs and meat, turkeys for meat, our flock of sheep, and the occasional duck and goose. I think that's everybody. And I also am involved with working with the children, so helping to integrate them into all of the aspects of the working farm. I think the thing that I like most about being here is the freedom that I have to learn and fail and succeed and share that with others of all ages, whether they're a kid in camp or a field trip or an adult who just stumbled by the farm and wanted to know what sort of pigs we had and why they were where they were. So I really, really like sharing things with people that they just never thought that they would be learning that day. And I sort of gauge whether or not I like where I am by how eager I am to wake up in the morning and go somewhere, and I every day, all the time, want to get up and come here. So I feel like I have farming in my blood, and also sharing the joys of farming and not so joyous parts of farming with others. And it's not for everybody, but it's just where I want to be, and so far this farm has kept in line with all the things that I'm looking for.
Working at the Farm Institute has been so rewarding for our team because there's so many different aspects of service that it has presented to us. People who are interested in working in carpentry and creating things with their hands had opportunities to help build a greenhouse that they've been struggling with for years and really be able to get some good progress. And people who are interested in the planting and harvesting of the crops they have there had opportunities to work in the numerous gardens and really see what goes into growing a head of lettuce and how much work it takes to get the soil prepped and get all the weeding done. It's just a really interesting experience to be able to see exactly where our food comes from and what it takes to do it sustainably and get products that are affordable to the consumers. Being able to work at the farm with such a kind staff and have it being such a friendly learning environment has really given us an opportunity to feel free to make mistakes and be able to grow from them and really be able to take the most that we can from this experience.
So despite being from the Midwest and growing up around farms pretty much my whole life, I've never really felt like I had a good handle on what the day-to-day operations of a farm were like, and until the past 2 or 3 years, I'd say that didn't really even concern me that much, but my interest in food is kind of slowly grown, and I think that has a lot to do with increased public interest in like local food and sustainable agriculture and getting to know your farmer and all that. So in that sense, getting to work at the Farm Institute has been really very interesting. You know, if I opened up a box of cereal, I probably couldn't have told you where where that all came from and how it got from a farm, to a grocery store, to my cabinet, to my bowl, whatever. And since working at the Farm Institute, I still don't have a grasp on what that whole process is like, but I definitely have a better grasp on how it all starts and what growing crops is like, and what goes into that day to day. So working at the Farm Institute has been a pretty cool thing in that sense.
At the Farm Institute, I really enjoy the variety of the work, like working in the gardens one day and construction on the greenhouse the next, and the location is beautiful.
I like the fact that at the Farm Institute I get to work with plants. I get to dig my hands into the soil and I get to help something live and breathe and come alive, and it's really amazing. You just get to feel your hands in the earth. I also like the fact that I get to work with the animals, and it's really amazing to just run around and like pet the goats or the sheep, and sometimes the chickens if someone manages to catch one, because they don't really like to be pet normally. The working in the greenhouse is really cool because you're watching something that's been in progress for a couple years, and we're helping almost complete it or possibly complete it. And it's just such an amazing experience, and I love the people there.
What I really like about the farm is getting to kind of leave my comfort zone and do things that I wouldn't normally do. I'm not usually a big fan of animals, but I feel like I kind of bonded with the animals on the farm. That was nice.
The Farm Institute is a wonderful place. Personally, I've learned a whole lot about farming and animals and plants and stuff. But more than that, I've actually I feel like I've grown as a person too. The staff at the Farm Institute has been a wonderful group of people to not only teach us how to work on the farm, but along the way kind of teach us things that we need to know, things that we can also take with us in the future. And it's been one of the things that is helping me grow and giving me the opportunity to do that as I move on from this place and just remember what I've learned.
What I like about the Farm Institute is there's a lot of work to be done, a lot of variety, so it helps that you're not doing the same thing and getting burned out, and all of it seems to be helpful, and the people are really nice and cooperative.
What I like most about working at the Farm Institute has been the variety of work that the team has been given. Every day has been something new and more exciting, from working with Sydney on the construction of the greenhouse to going out into the fields and planting all these different varieties of plants, and actually seeing and understanding everything that it takes to go into getting this food harvested, from going out and getting on your hands and knees and planting the seeds into the ground, to watering them every day and making sure they're weeded so they can grow properly, and just getting to the point of being able to harvest the food. It's an incredible process, and with all the new gained knowledge that I have, has helped me develop a passion, which one I would possibly like to pursue in the future.
What I like about the Farm Institute is probably the people. The people are they're nice, they're friendly, they're hardworking, they love what they do, and I think that's what really makes the Farm Institute so great, is the individuals who work here, and they're really just committed to doing what they love, which is working on the farm, working with animals, doing daily chores that need to be done, feeding the animals, doing it, whatever, working the garden, harvesting crops. They love what they do, and that kind of really it kind of bounces off each other and kind of establishes that community that is just really close, and everybody's just like really nice and welcoming. And having someone who comes in who's new, who's a volunteer, or people who might come here to the farm, it kind of really bounces off them and kind of puts them in a good mood and kind of shows who we are and what this place represents, that it's a community that loves what they're doing.
Zach from Buffalo 3. I just kind of wanted to thank some people for helping us with the video at the Farm Institute. Sydney, who kind of taught us a lot of stuff as while we were working. Tim, the education coordinator, working with him was cool. Rebecca, the gardening manager. And finally, Julie, to work with the animals and make sure they were there on the farm, had a place to stay and feed them and take care of them and stuff. Also want to thank Lindsay for just making anything happen that I asked her to. So that was really cool. We appreciate it. And John and Sunday and Mark and Elena and all those guys that actually down at the Farm Institute, we really appreciate all the help that you gave us for just making this film. I really appreciate it. And this has been a Blind Man production. So. This has been a Buffalo 3 production.
Buffalo!